If you wanna be somebody, so if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. If you wanna be somebody, if you wanna go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. That was way too quiet, but my window is open, as you can probably hear, and I don't want other people hearing me sing. As I'm singing every word that I'm saying. But tell me in the comments what movie, what that song is from. Woo! Somebody wooed. Basically, excuse me, I just chugged a bunch of water before this, so I hopefully wouldn't be clearing my throat the whole time, but that didn't really help. Anyway, I'm Liv. We're a minute and 20 seconds in, so maybe I should say my name, but, hi. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about jobs. Work, careers, whatever you want to call it, whatever we spend a majority of our time doing, whether it's something we like or don't like. I feel like a majority of the time it's something that we don't like, at least for me. Quick backstory. Just growing up kind of like, I guess a gifted kid, you know, accelerated in all of the things, all of the academic things, caught on to things quickly and was like very quiet and well behaved and like pretty much followed the rules almost to a T. There are a few things within reason. I don't know if I ever talked about the time that I stole a Pog when I was like 7 that had Kimberly, the pink Power Rangers face on it. She was like my everything at the time. Just a single Pog. It was like cardboard. It wasn't even like a... Anyway. And then I also snuck into Sadie Hawkins' dance one year. Which, like, okay. But, back to the point. I don't remember like ever not having a teacher all my whole life up through high school, like senior year of high school, saying, I wish all my students were like Olivia. And, which like, I thought that was a good thing at the time. I think it's just because I was like so well behaved. But, it was like the last couple years of high school that I was like really struggling hard, and like all of my mental energy was going into just like studying and like just keeping my straight A's, or else I thought that the world would end. And so none of the mental energy was going towards like, oh yeah, what school are you gonna go to? What are you gonna major in? What you should start applying to those places and maybe like get some financial aid and stuff. It was more just like surviving the current tornado that was my life. And so like being the, you know, perfect, quote unquote perfect student, and then like not having anywhere to go post high school, when everyone's having these talks of where they're going and what they're going into and what scholarships they had gotten, and like your mind was just like, whoa, that was a thing that we were all supposed to be doing and I did not know any of this. Did anybody else's like parents help them remember this stuff, or like am I the only person that wasn't on top of any of this stuff that I should have been on top of? But also, just being an extremely indecisive person my entire life, and like having low self-esteem makes it hard to be confident in your decisions. So it makes you kind of never want to make a decision because you don't want to be wrong, even though you know logically, like, you can't really make a wrong decision because you can change your mind almost always on things. So I know that. Like, my brain knows that, but also I'm just like in paralysis most of the time. My brain is. So, yeah, just like zeroing in, focusing on, all of the core senior classes, right? Not having much fun at all. But also, I'm a loner. But also, and also not a partier because I was a rule follower. I was not a drinker in high school because I was a rule follower. And, oof, I needed to, oh man, so many video ideas. I need to talk about how people can change. And we are allowed to change our viewpoints. And as humans, we should do that as we learn more information and become more knowledgeable on those topics. We should maybe change our viewpoint on some of those topics. My mouth is still dry. So, in high school, freshman year, I kind of just like let everyone kind of tell me what to do, unless like it was just a decision that I had to make on my own. But like being the youngest kid, you always kind of just like went with whatever anybody told you to do, because that's kind of what just happened. So in speech class, my partner was a junior, and I looked up to her even though she was like a foot shorter than me. She was like super pretty, popular, and we were both on the pom-pom squad, and she chose our topic. We were supposed to do a persuasive speech, or a informative? Persuasive, I think. And she chose a topic, and it was like basically like an anti-abortion speech, which, like, looking back at it now as my 33-year-old self, even looking back at it now as my 18-year-old self, I think I was pretty disappointed. But like as a 14-year-old who just kind of went with whatever I was told to do and read and say, I was like, yeah, I guess, sure, I guess I believe this. I didn't have any opinions of my own for the most part, except for in like music and fashion and movies. That's kind of a little bit. It's changed a little now, but still, majority is the same. Where was I? This is why I need to get a better computer so I can actually edit these long breaks out. Pro tip, if you've made it past 8 minutes into this, cool. Appreciate you. Thanks, fam. And also, you can change the speed on YouTube videos. Just go in those little settings in the top corner there. There's like 3 dots or whatever, and there's a speed, and you can change it to like 1.5. It'll quicken me up a little bit. Anyway, yes, where was I? Yep. Following the rules, doing things with the stuff, and then not having a college, and being the youngest. Oh, the speech. Yeah. What? Dum-dum. Sorry, like, no offense, but dum-dum. Dum-dum. Research. Look into the statistics of what happens. What happens at clinics. Like, who's actually getting abortions. It just so many things that like people need to know more about to make better decisions, and not just decisions based out of this like fear or this like one book written by who knows who like a million years ago. Okay, that's beside the point. We're not even talking about religion. We're just not gonna go there. We're just not gonna talk about it. But my god is Angelica. Just kidding, it's Chucky. But I did another a paper, a long paper. We had to do I think it was also, well, I don't know what it was exactly, but we had to do this long paper that was either for or against the legalization of marijuana. And this was my sophomore year. And at this time, even sophomore year, I was very much for gay marriage. I did a whole thing about it. I was like, hell yes, let my people be free. And I remember my dad, I was so proud of that paper. And I got to the very end, and I read it to my dad. I got to the very end, and I just was like hoping for just like, oh wow, that was a well-written paper, even though I kind of knew it was against his views. And he was just like, except that it's completely wrong. And it's like, okay, cool, thanks, man, appreciate it. Anyway, I did a paper against the legalization of marijuana because of all of the fear and the dare, the D-A-R-E, and all of the fear. And if I had known, I'm glad I didn't do it as a teen, because I don't think my mind was ready for it yet. I didn't do it until my mid-20s. If any of my nieces are watching, I didn't do it until I was 25, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, good. That's good. You shouldn't. I don't think you watch these anymore. That's okay. But basically, I have been going to doctors and therapists for about 10 years now, off and on, for this old thing here, this broken brain, whatever. A brain that doesn't make the right chemicals to make me feel like there's sunlight in the world sometimes. So I've been on trying different chemicals to try and find the right chemical well before I brought my friend Mary Jane, well before I met Mary Jane. And it helped a little, and I would do, like, anyway, this is all beside the point. This is 13 minutes long. So basically, like, I just didn't know what I was talking about because I was 15 and didn't know anything about all of the medical benefits. Not like a freaking, like, you don't know, man, like, it's natural, comes from the earth, and not like that, but like look into the studies of all the good, all of the like research studies of all the good that marijuana has done for cancer patients, not just with pain, but also with stuff in the mind. Good stuff, not just bad stuff. Some people have bad experiences with it, but that doesn't mean everybody does. A lot of people have good experiences with it and actually makes their depression less and their anxiety less. You just gotta find the right balance. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Probably not gonna post this. Every time I say that, I end up posting it. But the point of this was to talk about jobs. But basically, when you're an aimless child that doesn't really know what the shit you think, I obviously didn't when I was 15, 16. I thought that abortion was bad, and weed was bad, and all of these things were bad. And it's like, no, that's not it. But you don't know when you're a kid. So why are we expected to know what we want to do for the rest of our lives? I'm about to start crying because this is such an emotional thing for me. Ugh. When you're so young, like, how are you supposed to figure out, like, this is what I want to do? This is it, and this is the end all be all, and I got to start going this course, and this is the way. And, you know, if you pivot and then it's like you're somehow like further back in life than other people that never pivoted and just went this way, even if it's not exactly what they wanted to do, but it's what they thought that society wanted them to do and what they thought that they should do and what their parents wanted them to do or what their grandparents wanted them to do or what their partner wanted them to do or what their whatever somebody wanted them to do, but they didn't want them to do it themselves. And it's just a whole thing. And I think that we set these expectations on kids and teens to just be like, what do you want to do? What are you gonna be? Ba 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 ba. And like that's how we talk as like Americans to one another. Like, what do you do? What's your job? What kind of work do you do? And it's like, we shouldn't be defined by our careers or the type of work that we do. And there's so many people out there that like treat humans less than for not having like a desk job or like a white collar job versus a blue collar job. Like, I know you've probably heard this a million times, but everyone should either work in the service industry or retail, customer service, food, whatever, at least once for like 6 months, at least. You'll get a good kick in the head with like what some real humans are like. And you just gotta take it, because that's what we have to do in our society, is just let customers treat you like poop and then just internalize it. And then you slowly become a pessimist over time because you've dealt with so many people that have treated you like such a little tiny speck of dust. And you're just like, what is the point of any of it? I do not want to interact with humans ever again. And like, it's not just because I'm an introvert. Like, I found that out, but like, there's so many other things, man. I just like take on their stuff and I don't know when to cut people off because I don't want to be mean, even though I know it's not mean. In my head it feels like I'm being mean if I cut them off. So I once sat in a person's car for like 3 hours while they talked at me their life story, and it was like so awful. And the only reason I got away was because I said I had to pee, which was true, but I also just like wanted to go and die. That was weird. Instagram just told me that I added to my stories, but it was from my personal account to my non-personal account. Careers, yes. It also makes it very, 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 very difficult to make a living or any money whatsoever if you want to be an artist or you have an artistic soul rather than an analytical. I mean, I'm very analytical, but not in like a logical sense, more in just like a, well, if I do this, then this would happen. Then if I do this, this would happen. But then if this happened, then this choice would equal this and this and this and this and this and this. Not like a, oh, well, this makes more sense, so I'm going to choose that. So I'm just kind of like paint this path that is like definitely not the shortest way, but it'll get you there. I do think I'm neurodivergent. I know that term is thrown around a lot, but like it just would make a whole lot of sense for how freaking hard life has been. Here we go. Oh my gosh, and you can probably hear that dog in the background sounding just as sad as I look right now. Oh my gosh, okay. We just need to like stop putting our worth into what we do for a living. And life is just like really hard when you don't have like a specific pinpointed career in mind, and like what you want to do, and like you're so freaking like gung-ho about it and like know the path to get there, and like it just sucks when like you know that you like have so much potential for something like so great, but you don't know what it is. And so you just work shitty retail jobs throughout all of your 20s and like the first third of your 30s, and it's just very soul-sucking to where you don't have any other energy to put towards something else because you've just internalized all the bullshit for the last 6 to 8 hours. So you just kind of like melt into the couch or your bed and you just like sleep in your alone time, like in your off time, all you do is sleep. And like, this isn't a depression video, this is just like, I've talked about depression a lot. I know I've struggled with it a lot, like forever. But it just really goes hand in hand with when you feel like you don't like have this calling, this like meaning. It's like I have some things that I want, that I like think that could be interesting, but like I don't have it in me to like go back to school and figure out if I can hack it or even like it or want to do it. And it's like the only thing that's like remotely intriguing to me right now is just not working with anyone else and not either working from home or just like working for myself until I run out of money and then doing whatever I have to do. That's kind of been how life has been. So, yeah, this was supposed to just be about like, why is it so hard to get jobs that aren't awful and soul-sucking, when you don't have a bachelor's in anything. I have 2 associate's degrees. I have a degree in photography. That doesn't do me any good. And my boyfriend just came home, so we are going to stop the video. Be kind to everyone, regardless of their job. And rewind all your tapes. Bye, guys.